Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Well, welcome back. And welcome to my 50 subscriber special. We finally made it, halfway there to 100. And welcome to What If Deku Was the Joker. I've gotten this recommendation from you guys, so I hope you guys like how I did this story. I don't know much about the backstory of the Joker. I have to admit my favorite hero is Batman over Superman any day, and then Deadpool's next. But I've never looked into the history of Joker. So I believe that he had fallen into a vat of toxic waste, if I'm not correct. It's either that or some like radioactive stuff, and it changes his mentality, and he's pretty crazy. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to have Deku fall into it. He's going to be born crazy. So let's do this. Deku was born, well, he would seem normal, but he was, as far as they know, he was born a normal child, and he would be a normal child until the age of 2, when his father, very abusive, and his mother was always cowardly and would be beaten as well. So one day, Hisashi, I'm just going to give him the name Hisashi, Hisashi walks over to Deku with a knife, and basically pulls a Jeff the Killer and just rips his mouth open, giving him a permanent little smile. As Deku's screaming on the floor in pain, he then stands up, laughing, as he looks at his father with the eyes of a killer, of an insane man, and then just walks off. After that day, Hisashi's been different. He's always nervous around Deku. And Inko doesn't know why, because Inko wasn't in the room at that time. We get to the age of Deku when he's 10. He doesn't know Bakugo because Deku goes to a completely different school because his parents weren't as rich to live in an apartment, so they have to live near the slums. So Deku's pretty much going to a Badlands school, well, a pre-K school, and at this time, one of the kids decided to pick on Deku, and Deku straight up just doesn't mean to do this, but yet again, he doesn't really care. He kills the kid. The other kids see this and they're terrified of him. Deku's saying he didn't mean it, but he deserved it, but I still didn't mean it. The teacher's trying to calm him down as they would call his parents, explaining the incident to him. They would come to pick him up. Hisashi, furious at Deku, decides to start being more harsh to Deku than usual. And this breaks Deku. This makes him snap. He, after his daily beating, as he would call it, he would walk into the kitchen, grab a kitchen knife, and when his father and mother were asleep, would proceed to murder Hisashi in his sleep. Then he gives him a big old smile on his face like he does, or like Hisashi gave to him. And if you're asking if Bakugo and Todoroki are going to be villains, that's up to you. I don't really care. This is your choice if you want them to be villains. And, give me a minute. After, Deku murders his father, his mother gets up and sees this, and she's terrified, and she wants to scream, but Deku kills her as well. And now Deku's an orphan, but Deku doesn't care. He hated his family. He hated his father especially. He loved his mother, but she didn't care for him that much. She was mainly trying to appease her husband. So he walks out the house covered in blood. The knife was still in the room. As he was just walking down the street, someone saw this and called the cops, and the cops would come and talk to him. Deku would make up a lie saying that his parents were murdered, and the cop would ask where his house was, and he would give him the address, and they would find the bodies, and they'd have to do some investigating, but the technology in that area isn't as good as a big city, so they just ruled off as suicide and manslaughter. Deku was in the back of a police cruiser being taken to an orphanage in a big city, as this city is the exact same city where Deku grew up originally. So, sorry for the cut, but give me like 1 second. As Deku and the officer that picked him up walked into the orphanage, they had seen Deku. He was in a different change of clothes, but they noticed his mouth. They asked him what happened, and he said his father did this to him. Or well, the man that killed his parents tried to kill him and do it to him, but he missed one of his slashes and it hit his mouth, giving him this nasty cut. They would believe this as Deku would walk into the main plaza, or the main lobby area with the other kids, as Deku would just sit down in one of the chairs and just do nothing. As a little girl would walk up to him and yeah, she's the same age as him, or about a year younger. She would ask him what's wrong, and he would just say that nothing's wrong, he's just a little distracted at the moment. She would say, okay, give him a hug, and then walk off. Deku looking at the girl and thinking to himself that she's too adorable to be in here. She should find a family soon, hopefully a good one. As Deku would just look up at the ceiling and think to himself, what is this hellhole he's been put into? A year goes by and Deku's in the orphanage still. And who should the ship be? I'll ask you guys right now, who should the ship be? And this is going to be possibly the only video coming out today. If I upload another video, it's because I'm pretty much immobile at the moment. I have PT, so yeah, dead. Anyways, you guys can pick the ship. I don't really care. If you guys want me to add Harley Quinn like character in here, I don't care. If you guys want a Harley Quinn character, I'll add a character in here. Or if you want one of the usual ships to be like a Harley Quinn, I'll definitely do it. So there's your guys' options for a ship. Bring in a character or change the personality. Anyways, Deku at the age of 11 to 12 would then start to see some of the older kids bully some of the younger ones, and Deku would take the hits for him. Deku is born quirkless, but because of his dad's beatings on him for the past 10 years, pretty much his body's adapted to taking hits. And Sashi's quirk, I'm just going to say this, Sashi's quirk was super strength, and he couldn't turn it off, so he would just constantly beat up on Deku a lot. So his body pretty much is made out of steel at this point. And after all those beatings, Deku's gotten even more crazier, and his thirst for bloodlust has gotten stronger. So yeah, you could say we have a potentially Joker-like character already. Deku's suit isn't going to be purple and orange. It's going to be more like the orange part. Make that... Well, here, I'll show you an image of what his suit's going to look like. This is the best image I could find of a suit that would look better. It's either this one or the Villain Deku series picture I used, but the Villain Deku series is going to be coming back soon, so you're going to have to wait for that. Anyways, but this is what his suit's going to look like, so yeah. Now, as Deku was in the orphanage one day, and the little girl that came and talked to him all that time would always hang around him, pretty much acting like a little sister to him. And one day she got adopted by a family. And this family was known, well, not known, but they're killers. And the little girl in this orphanage didn't know it. And about 3 days later, everyone got the news that the little girl that got adopted 3 days ago was murdered by the family that got adopted by. Deku, being crushed, would just shut himself off into his room and wouldn't leave for the next few days. After that, Deku had enough. So, he acted all sweet and innocent so he can be adopted. And as soon as he was adopted at the age of 13 and put into his school, Deku would murder the parents, thanking them for being nice to him for the past few months, but as he would look down at his hands covered in blood and have a knife in him, he would say, "This little hero trip of mine and this social life isn't for me, oh my god." Sorry about that cut, guys. If you hear meowing in the back, don't worry. My cats are retarded, so... anyways, he would constantly wander around the city, and he would kill people, and you would usually kill bandits in alleyways so he can take their stuff and get a little bit of gear. So he would have guns on him, he would have knives on him, he would have all the sorts, and he would always have little gag weapons like a pencil that's actually a knife, and just the tip is just a weapon. Or a playing card, and it's just really a throwing knife with a throwing card that just has blades on it. And he wouldn't really make the laughing gas that Joker has. He wouldn't make that yet until he joins the League of Villains, which I do plan on making him do, but that's later. He would one day meet this girl, blonde hair. Oh no, no. He would meet this guy in a suit with a black misty body, and another guy with hands all over his body and blue hair. As he would walk up to him and he would say, "Here, shake my hand. It's nice to meet you." As the guy would shake his hand, he would be shocked. As he would fall down unconscious, as he would laugh and he would say, "Well, that was a good joke. Now, can I come with you? I need a place to stay." And Kirigiri would warp Deku, Shigaraki, and himself to the base. And this is where I'm going to leave it. I know it's about 13 minutes, but this is just part 0. Part 1 will probably come out tomorrow as a longer special part. So I hope you guys enjoy this part. I may upload another video here in a little bit, so don't worry about it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.